Hopefully this doesn't crash. Okay, looks like we are live. Awesome. So let me double check. So hey guys, I'm here with Locked In Chargers.
Locked on.
Locked on. Damn it. I knew I was gonna screw it up. I was like locked on, locked on, locked on. But then here we go, and I say locked in. So I wanted to start with just a quick introduction with you guys. You can say where you're from, how long you've been doing this. Obviously, you're a Chargers fan. You know, a little bit about yourself, and then we can start talking about the actual game.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, my name is David Drogemeyer. I've been a Charger fan for over 20 years, ever since I knew what football was like. I'm from San Diego originally, so I'm an original San Diego Charger fan. I followed the team because, of course I was mad when they left, but I followed the team because I love the players and, I still support them. So, yeah, and we've been doing podcasts, John and I, and as well as Daniel Wade, for about 3 years. We did a Facebook Live show. We started that out, and then after a couple of years this year, the Locked On Podcast Network decided that they like what we did, and they picked us up. So now we do their daily podcast, 4 to 5 shows a week. John, what about you, man?
I am. Hold on. Really? I am John Cagley. I've been a fan since 2004 when I saw the Daniel Tomlinson play. I fell in love with the guy. I'm now known to David and Wade as the biggest LT fan they've ever seen because of my jersey collection of 31 jerseys. And just because of him. Because of LT, I became a huge Charger fan since 2004. I followed them religiously. It's basically like a religion to me. When they left to LA, it bothered me a lot, but eventually sorry.
You're good.
When they left San Diego for LA, it really made me mad, but eventually I just realized that I love the guys. They're my boys. I love them to death. And screw Spanos, but I love my boys, and I'm going to stick with them till the end.
Screw Spanos. I like that line. I mean, I can definitely feel you. A lot of people in Baltimore hate the Colts. When the Colts left. Actually, when the Colts come here, they don't put the Colts as a team we're playing. It's just Indy, right? So, yeah. Because they took their records. They took everything, right? They took all the stats. Jeez. So yeah, people are not fan of the Colts. So let's start talking about the game, right? Your boys are hot. Has me a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. I do think sup Mike. I do think we can beat anybody. To be honest, the Ravens can. I'm gonna tell you how I think we can beat you guys, and then you guys can just challenge my point.
Okay.
You guys have a great defense. I think we do have a better defense, but this is the best defense that Lamar Jackson's gonna face since he started. Okay, so that's the first point. Then the other thing that I think how we are gonna work this game is gonna be determined how Philip Rivers does against our defense. Our defense doesn't get a lot of turnovers, but we are a pressure defense. Our corners just go one-on-one pressure, make sure that quarterback feels uncomfortable. If I saw anything on the KC game, it looks like Rivers, he likes to take some chances and he leaves some balls out there. So if we start getting picks, that might be trouble for you guys. But biggest thing is time of possession. How the Ravens do they grind you out. It's not pretty, but we grind you out until like by the end of the game that defense just tired, and they want to stop the run, but we keep pounding the run, and we at the beginning of the game we don't get that many big runs, but by the end of the game you start seeing the 7-yard gains, 8-yard gains, 15-yard gains. I think that's our recipe for success. Lamar cannot turn the ball over for us. If it turns the ball over, that is disaster. But the one thing that I've seen the Chargers do lately is they don't start fast, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. In the last couple of games that I've seen, you guys don't start fast. I think against Baltimore, it's one of the two ways. If you guys start fast, it's gonna be hard for us to keep up or come back. But if you guys allow us to go up 13-0, 14-3, that's not a huge gap, but that defense can do just enough for not to not let you guys score more. So, the floor is your guys.
Okay. So, yeah, are you guys going to run the football? Absolutely, you're going to run the football. You've done it very, very effectively this year. That's been your offense, but that has been your offense, just the running game. That's it. So, if they completely sell out to stop the running game and they make Lamar Jackson beat the Chargers with his arm, John, I think that is the recipe for success.
It is, because Lamar Jackson has been turnover prone in past few games, except for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, he was clean, but
no. He fumbled. He fumbled the ball, and he fumbled, and they recovered it. So he was not clean.
It was a self fumble. It wasn't a forced fumble. It was on the snap.
Oh, right.
He didn't catch it cleanly.
I was looking at the wrong game on here, but yeah. He does turn the ball over. And my worry is if we turn back into the old Chargers, which is the team that sucks against the run, are the Ravens going to start having their way with us, controlling the clock, keeping this Chargers offense off the field? But if we can keep our offense on the field with Melvin Gordon looking like he's going to come back, I just saw an update a few minutes ago that said he's looking like he's going to return. It's also looking like Austin Eckler is going to return, so we should have our ball control running game back.
How about Allen? Is Allen playing? Keenan?
I have not heard a definite answer on Keenan Allen yet. A lot of people say he should play, but I personally feel he shouldn't play. I think you should just let him get that hip pointer fixed completely for playoffs and make him just play against Denver if he feels like he can. Because Keenan has had injury problems with landing on himself the wrong way. Last game against the Ravens, he lacerated his spleen, making an amazing catch in the end zone. So I don't want to see him do it all over again by playing on a hip pointer. And with Lamar Jackson turning the ball over a lot, if you try to make him beat you, it's kind of like a Jay Cutler situation. Whenever the Chargers would play Jay Cutler, me, David, and Wade would always say, make Jay Cutler beat you. Make him throw the ball and beat you because he's bound to turn the ball over. It's the same thing with Lamar Jackson.
So let me refute that argument a little bit. So Lamar, we have been looking into 8 and 9 people in the box for the past couple of games, right? Obviously, normal stuff. We're just running the ball, so we're gonna see that. KC tried that, and Tampa tried that on a crappy day. I do agree he had some problems with the web ball, so he wasn't as accurate last game, but what's happening when you get 8, 9 people in the box is allowing him to have easy throws. So if you check his completion percentage, he's in his 60s. He will take his deep shot, and it's because people are just looking into the run. And the other thing that Lamar does, and I think people don't give him a lot of credit, is when he scrambles, he keeps looking down the field. So I was used to seeing running quarterbacks that as soon as they scramble, they're looking to run. Lamar scrambles and he still looks to the guys. So when he starts scrambling, usually the linebacker starts collapsing, the safety starts cheating, and then the receivers start going deep, and he's finding soft spots in that zone. So that's why I think they need to be careful how many people they put in the box. This guy's super shifty. He's slick. I don't know how he does it. Sometimes I'm like, yo, that's a sack. Whoa, he got out. So just saying that. Let me before we get going, Mike Hutchinson. He is a Chargers fan. So welcome. He's saying that your guys' defense is better than our defense. Just for kicks. Baltimore on total defense 1, passing 3rd, rushing 3rd. The Chargers, which has a great defense, I'm not diminishing them. Total 8, passing 8, rushing 9. Just putting the stats out there. And then Jurek Kuton, I can't pronounce that. Welcome to the stream. Also a Chargers fan. He says that if Phillip Rivers can handle 8 kids, he can handle Baltimore Ravens D. It's a good line.
Oh man,
Samuel L.
yeah,
Jackson, welcome,
it
bro.
it 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 is a good line, but and you guys, you said you had a good defense, and you do have a good defense, but I think there's some vulnerabilities in that defense, especially running the ball up the middle, and with Melvin Gordon returning this week, I think that is something that the Chargers are going to exploit. Because yeah, you have a good defense, but the Chargers have a good defense and a good offense, and they can get points through the air and on the ground. And if they get their bell cow back, then you guys said you like to pressure a lot. Philip Rivers is one of the best quarterbacks in the league against pressure, and one of the better quarterbacks utilizing play action. So he's gonna take that pressure and he's gonna suck you in, and then he's gonna hit you deep. So that's one thing the Ravens gonna have to definitely look out for with Philip Rivers on Saturday night.
So I think one of the big things for us will be through the middle. Am I scared through the middle? I don't know. We have two big boys in the middle. I'm more scared of our edge guys don't hold in containment, right? And I do think more than stopping the pass, if we stop that run, then Rivers can do play action. I do agree with you. If the run starts clicking, then play action is gonna kill us. In my opinion, we have the best secondary in the league. I know that's refuted by Chargers fans all the time, but I don't know. I guess again against the pass we're third. So, but we have a really good secondary. I think it will be in our favor if Keenan Allen doesn't play, because I know
Definitely.
Mike Williams is a beast and Keenan Allen is a beast. They're both big physical receivers, and I think we do have three big physical corners. But if we can have those three physical corners shifting between against damn, I just said his name. Your boy from
Mike Williams.
Clemson, Mike Williams, against Williams, then at least we can tire him. But I do agree, Melvin Gordon, I think, is the key. If we contain Gordon and make the Chargers one-dimensional, I think that's the recipe for success. Because again, I feel like if we can win, then after that, the time of possession, I think our defense is fresh and our defense is good, and usually, that has been the recipe for winning. Although we lost against the Chiefs, took them a big 4th and 9. I don't want to think about that play. Still nightmares on
John,
my mind.
quick question for you, John. He's saying he likes the matchup if it's Philip Rivers against their secondary. How do you feel about Philip Rivers against the Ravens secondary? Do you think he can find some success, or are you worried?
It's not so much the secondary that bothers me. It's the fact that the Ravens defense is so disciplined that they can use a linebacker in zone whenever they want to. So whatever you feel like, say you find your matchup in the secondary and you're using it, they'll sneak a linebacker over their last second. And Rivers is sometimes vulnerable to throwing a pick like that where the linebacker will last second shift over there and Rivers does not see it coming because they disguise their defense really well. They are a really, really disciplined defense. I would say the Chargers defense is probably more talented in my opinion, but we're not disciplined as much as the Ravens defense is. That Ravens defense is so disciplined. You can just tell them to run this play and they'll run it so perfectly that no matter what talent you have on your team, they're in the right spot to shut down your play. So with Rivers, I think he's got to learn to be able to not look down his receivers like he always does. Rivers has that tendency to, right when he hikes the ball, he's already looking where he wants to throw the ball, and that Ravens defense is going to go, oh, you're looking at Mike Williams? Okay, let me just sneak over here so I can jump your route. Whereas if he can look off a guy and then do kind of like what Patrick Mahomes has done this year, like he did against the Ravens, do that no-look pass type thing or turn the other way and go straight to a guy, you're more likely to have success against this team. But your success is really going to be at being able to throw quickly off the play action, which is where Rivers tends to not look at his receiver. He looks at the running back, turns around, and he's already throwing it by the time he's looking.
So I would say something else. I think also another key is how disciplined is your O-line. Sometimes the Ravens put 7 or 8 people in the line. And that doesn't mean we're blitzing. That means 4 of them are coming, sometimes 3, sometimes all 8. How disciplined is your O-line? Because any quarterback, I don't care. I mean, I think Rivers is a top 5 quarterback. I like Rivers. A lot of respect for Rivers. But any quarterback, you start hitting them, you start panicking, that clock goes a little quicker, right? So how disciplined is that O-line? I haven't seen a lot of Chargers game, So can you talk about your O-line, how good it is?
Sure, absolutely. So for the O line and also the protections, you're talking about,
Yeah, in general.
you may be sending 3, sending 4, maybe sending 7. The beautiful thing is Philip Rivers has been in the league for 15 years, my man. So he can identify those things. He can see those kind of things, and he sets his own protections at the line of scrimmage. So if that's why he takes so much time before he usually hikes the ball. It's because he's surveying the defense and trying to make sure that he gets his line in the right position to block for him and get his team in the best position to make a good play and with a good play. So on our offensive line, the best player on our offensive line is our left tackle, Russell Okung. He has been very solid this year. He's a great left tackle, very, very balanced, good in pass protection and run blocking. Sam Tevi, our right tackle, he's decent in pass protection, much better as a run blocker, I would say, John. Michael Schofield's been pretty steady all year. Nothing flashy. He's not fantastic, but he's going to get the job done. He's not going to make any big mistakes, and he's suitable. The center, Mike Pouncey, very, very talented, having a great year. It makes a big difference to have a veteran center that can come in and bring a nastiness and a discipline to an offensive line. But John, we all know who the big liability on the Chargers offensive line is, and that's their left guard, Dan Feeney.
Yeah, that's where you're going to get the Chargers, is going through Dan Feeney. If you watch the Chiefs game, Chris Jones was in Rivers' face all night, but Rivers was still able to make plays.
Is a monster. But yes.
Yeah, but even someone like Michael Schofield wouldn't be as bad as Feeney was. I mean, could Chris Jones still get there? Yeah, but maybe after like 2.5, 3 seconds, not immediately when the play starts. Chris Jones was literally in Rivers' face right after the hike of the ball, and Rivers still made plays. So I'm not so worried about our offensive line as far as blocking goes, because Rivers eventually figures it out. Feeney is going to be where the Ravens need to go. If they want to make a play, you literally have to go through Feeney. If you want to run a stunt, you go through Feeney. If you want to send your biggest, baddest guy, you got to go through Feeney. And I'm more worried about our pre-snap discipline when it comes to our offensive line, because we love to do false starts. It don't matter who we are. We love to do false starts and beat ourselves. We love to get holding calls during the play. Even if it's only a 3-man rush, we somehow love to get a holding call and ruin a big play. I don't get how we do it, but like against the Broncos, we should have won that game. We got into the red zone the first 2 drives, and both times we got a false start followed by a holding penalty on both drives, and both drives it was the same guy making the same penalty on both drives, and we had to settle for field goals. And if we had gotten touchdowns, we would have won that game.
So just to get some of the comments, Samuel Jackson's Hollywood Star. We have a Hollywood Star here, Samuel L. Jackson. He says, time of possession keeps the Ravens D fresh. Gonna be a good game. River, perhaps the most underrated QB in the league. I will say I agree with that. I didn't like him Rivers, although I like Drew Brees since he was in San Diego, to be honest. I was a little upset when they traded him, but I understood. I mean, he was coming from an injury. You never know. So I will say I understand the discipline. The one thing the Ravens bring in every game, they bring the most weird blitzes. And again, that's why sometimes they put 8, sometimes they put 3, and then you look and you have 6 people rushing, and they're coming sometimes from the corner side, sometimes from the middle. They do a fairly good job in disguising the blitz. Because I compare them with the other teams. What are the other teams doing, right? Even when Flacco was there or Lamar, I can kind of see when a team is blitzing from the other side. With the Ravens, sometimes I'm not sure. Again, sometimes they put 8 people, and then just 3 go rushing, and then everybody else is back in zone, right? And that confuses the line. Sometimes they put 8, 3 rush, and 2 of them just got a couple steps back, and they just rush in. So I have seen that all over the. It's just it's gonna be a good one. I agree. I think, and the key for the Ravens game will be if we can hold that time of possession. Like I said, if our offense doesn't turn the ball over, our team needs this win. Because if we lose, we need basically both the Colts and Titans to lose. And they are both playing against a very, very soft team. One is against the Redskins, the other one is against New York. Both of them at home. So the Ravens need this game, especially also the Pittsburgh are playing New Orleans in New Orleans. So I'm hoping the Saints take care of them. If we win, we take the division. The Chargers need this game because they're trying to hold to that. Well, they're trying to gain the number 1 seed, and this is in theory the best chance that they have. KC's going to Seattle, right? That is difficult. Playing over there is gonna be hard. If KC pulls that win, who were they playing last week?
The Raiders.
The Raiders, that's right. So, and that's a soft game. I think you guys have probably a more difficult, although the Broncos have been losing people. But this is probably your biggest chance. If you beat Baltimore and they lose, you can take the number 1 one overall in the playoffs. So I understand that you guys want it and you need it, but we are like basically fighting for our lives versus. I feel like I guess this is the point that I'm making. If Keenan Allen is, like you say, is a little bit injured, well, if I'm the head coach, decision maker, I'm like, well, should I risk it for the number 1 or I want him healthy for the playoffs? Versus the Ravens, if we have somebody that's questionable, playing a little injured, you go back and say, well, bro, this is it. This is do or die. You go play every play hard. That's the only thing that I'm saying. I think you guys in this moment can have the luxury if somebody's a little hurt to rest them, right? Or somebody gets nicked in the game to rest them. Ravens don't have that luxury. If they lose, I think they're done.
Well, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. This is a huge game for both teams. But, the one thing I go back to is that I think the Chargers are a more balanced football team. And the Chargers make adjustments. Yeah, they go off to slow starts. Absolutely. The last couple of games, that's concerning, and that has to get fixed. 100% that has to get fixed. Because you can't expect to come back from 16 and 14 points in the playoffs and win. It's just not a realistic recipe for success. So the Chargers need to get up on the Ravens early. They need to get a lead, and then they need to keep the ball away from them. And I think the Chargers offense in a lead situation, I'll put it this way. If the Chargers get up by 2 scores at any point in this game, it is over. It is completely over. So the Ravens, by all costs, cannot allow that to happen, John.
I don't know. I don't believe that because we came out fast. We came out fast against the Bengals, which we can agree is not the greatest team. The Ravens are a way better team.
Yeah,
and we almost let the Bengals. We almost let the Bengals come back. We did the same thing against the Niners. We did the same thing against the Broncos.
I like you, John.
And JC.
I like John.
The games we have come backwards. The games we have come back from. We started slow. The games that we have started fast, we've let the team back in. So the Chargers don't seem to play a full 4 quarters, and even the Cardinals game that we won 45-10. We started that game off slow, 10-0, and scored 45 unanswered. Like we tend to either start slow, finish strong, or start strong, finish slow. It's just how the Chargers are. But we tend to do better based on stats when we tend to do better when we're down double digits. At one point, we tend to come back. It's just when we make a bonehead play during that comeback. So, for example, against the Rams, we were down double digits. And we could have came back, but we did stupid things like when we got an interception in the red zone, we ran it out to the 1-yard line. Derwin James, so stuff like that cost us the comeback. And if we would have just made a smart decision, we could have came all the way back. I feel like if we were to start slow, we'd actually win the game. It's just how I feel. Unless it's the playoffs. If it's the playoffs, I wouldn't rely on that.
I'm never gonna agree with starting slow. Okay, that's not gonna ever be okay with me. Yeah, the Chargers have done very well coming back. Yes, they have. But that's not something you want to happen. But I think the Chargers have shown that if that does happen, they can make the adjustments necessary to get back into any football game. This team is very road tested. They won in Seattle. They won in London. They won in KC. They won in Pittsburgh. I think this team can play anywhere. I think they make great adjustments, and that's why they come back and win games like that.
I do agree
Yeah,
with
so
that.
but look, if we look at this though, we played Buffalo. We started out strong, but Buffalo completely dominated the second half. Basically, Josh Allen just made enough stupid mistakes to let us win that game. Then there's San Francisco, where we started off slow, but we came back and finished strong. There's
Oh,
the
the
Titans
London
game.
game, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we started out strong and almost lost the game against the Titans. I mean, the Seahawks. Sorry, against the Seahawks. We started out strong and they almost came back and tied the game. The Broncos game, we started out strong. They came back and won the game. The Bengals, we started out strong. They almost won the game. You know, like you see the trend here. When we start out strong, we tend to almost lose, whereas the team seems to come back more when they start off slow. So I think it's more of, for this Chargers team, if you can actually limit how bad you play in the first quarter, you're more likely guaranteed to win the game. I feel like that's how this team is. You like to bring up, David, this is a new team compared to old Charger teams. I feel like this team plays better when it's not as strong in the first quarter. You just got to limit your mistakes. So don't be down 14-0. Limit your mistakes to be down 7-3 so that this second, third, and fourth quarter, you're taking off and winning 35-10.
Yeah, definitely limit your mistakes. I mean, if you're going to start slow on the offensive side, that's okay, but you cannot start slow on the defensive side. They can't let the game get away from them from a defensive perspective.
So let me intervene. By the way, John, I like you way more. But I let me agree a little bit here, in the sense that the only problem that I see if the Ravens go down 2 scores, we do have a rookie in his 6th start, and it's gonna be hard for a rookie to come back on the road. Although LA is not really a road stadium that I'm scared of, you know, but it's definitely gonna be hard, because even though I said our defense is better, your guys' defense is still good, top 10 in the league. The one thing is, and let me go some comments here. Rivers arguably number 2 in MVP behind Breeze. I disagree with both of those
I would say it's
statements.
behind Mahomes.
I would say
But
Mahomes is number 1 for sure. Breeze has been looking human
terrible
again.
last couple of games.
Human,
Yeah.
at least, again, lately. So I would say Mahomes still in the front run. I know he also hasn't been playing great. There's no clear runner-up. Only that Mahomes has padded the stats so much all the way to now that even a couple bad games, I still think Mahomes is the best, or the MVP this year. Another comment: enjoy this video, guys. I like seeing the different points of view. Thank you for that. The Ravens are definitely dominating second half. They tried to get tricky in the beginning, then go back to what they do in the second half. So let me say something. Also, Casey hasn't been the same after the running back got kicked out. I do agree with that. After Hunt got kicked off the team, that was a big blow for them. So I do like I said, Samuel Jackson. Yes, I do agree. If the Ravens get behind by 14 points and Lamar has to throw all the time, especially if you're down 2 touchdowns late, like the beginning of the fourth quarter, I think they might start panicking. Now, that being said, there's no quarterback in this league right now that is like Lamar Jackson. It's gonna be extremely hard to prepare for them. Plus, the Ravens are doing sweeps, RPOs, read option. What else? I mean, they're just being crazy in the backfield. So there's a lot of movement. It's gonna be hard. I think this game also becomes, can Bosa and Ingram be disciplined? What I mean about discipline, can Bosa and Ingram just, instead of seeing Lamar there and say like, holy shit, I'm sorry about language, holy crap, I have a clear path to the quarterback. I'm gonna just destroy this guy. Because usually what I see in teams just having a clear path, either they're going too wide for him and then Gus Edwards has a clear path for at least 10 yards. Or Lamar basically fakes it and then brings it back. The edge runner goes just slightly so in, and then there's a path for him to at least gain 5 or 8 yards. So I think how your outside linebackers DN, and again, it's so hard because you don't see this day to day, right? You used to see your mobile or your more stationary quarterback. If he moves to throw. If he moves, He's not as fast. This boy is. Again, I couldn't believe it when I saw him in game action. Go ahead, John.
Well, the Chargers have played some play action guys this year. Not many, but we've played guys like Mahomes is a running quarterback that can do stuff like that. He doesn't do much of it, but he does do it. Josh Allen did some of that. Marcus Mariota did a lot of that. Russell Wilson does it. So it's not something we haven't seen before. And Bosa is typically the type of guy who can literally just take offensive linemen and drive him backwards into your quarterback, which means that if your quarterback was to go left or right, you don't have to worry about him breaking out. Whereas Melvin Ingram, on the other hand, you have a point. Ingram tends to be undisciplined sometimes. That also involves jumping off sides. He jumps off sides a lot, and he will also try to get in there as fast as he can, which leaves the door open for Lamar to break out and extend the play or something along those lines. But Gus Bradley has been using Uchenna Nwosu a lot to be basically the quarterback spy lately, and he's done pretty good on it, except for the one play where Mahomes broke away from him because Nwosu got a little bit too excited. But after that, he stayed pretty disciplined and kept Mahomes in the pocket. So I think you could do better against Lamar Jackson, who's not as disciplined as Mahomes is.
Well, hey, we got a little bit of breaking news here. So, Sonny, sorry to interrupt you, man, but our producer from our Facebook Live show just told me that the Chargers will have 7 Pro Bowlers in the in the Pro Bowl this year. So pretty cool for Charger fans. We just got that information. So 7 Pro Bowlers for the Chargers this year.
Breaking news, guys! You heard it here first. SZG Sports. No, I'm just joking. That's cool. I to be honest, one of my first videos in this channel was predicting some of the conference, and when I predicted the AFC West, I have the Chargers winning the division 13-3. I used to say that the Kansas City Chiefs, I wasn't sure what to expect with them. I thought they were going to be a boom or bust. Now, going back to the point about the play-action quarterback. You know when you say, oh, it's this thing, and then you have this thing? Well, there's play-action quarterbacks and running quarterback, and then there's Lamar Jackson. He is as fast as a receiver. It's weird. I don't even know how to explain him, because even when he escapes,
I can explain it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I scouted him when I was doing our draft shows because I wanted the Chargers to draft whoever they were going to draft with our pick, and then I wanted them to trade a bunch of picks to get him to be our backup because I wanted to have that read option like Wildcat package to switch up our offense a little bit. Because if you would have had Lamar with Melvin and all those guys, it would have been good. So he has a lot of speed. He is very athletic, and he can literally – he's one of those quarterbacks that you don't expect to beat you to the corner, but once you get into the game and you realize he is, you have to literally take a better angle to get him. He will beat you to the corner no matter what you do. He's not really disciplined in the passing game. He makes all of his plays by running, and because he runs people open, as I like to say. He'll literally run to the sideline, and you'll have to send an extra guy to go get him, or he'll beat you to the corner, and that leaves your tight end that extra space to get open or something along those lines. So if you don't have an actual spy who's disciplined enough to be squared up and shoulder to shoulder as you're running with him, he'll beat you to the outside, and he'll run down the field with you all day. His speed is what gets him. He's not completely disciplined, though. He still has that rookie mindset of, like, I'm not going to run out of bounds. I'm going to try to get that extra set of yards, which can make him injury prone. And when he's keeping his eyes down the field, he's not scanning the whole field. He usually tends to look at a couple of guys. I remember there was a game when he was at Louisville where he had 2 guys on the far side of the field open, and he never looked at them. He kept looking at the same 2 guys down the field that were triple coverage and double coverage, and he ended up throwing the ball out of bounds when he had a chance for like a 30, 40-yard gain. So that's just the rookie mistake. That's the things that comes with the NFL. But with the Chargers, who in their history have struggled against running QBs, this is something that you have to worry about. I think the key for this is probably going to be Derwin James. Derwin James is probably going to be that guy to chase down Lamar Jackson. If he wants to stay in bounds, you lay him out like he did on James Conner against the Steelers. That's going to be where the key is.
So, and I'm shaking my head on Derwin James because I wanted the Ravens to draft him, not because I don't think he can stop him. I love that boy. I think it's a bad boy for sure. So as we're wrapping up, because I know you guys have another one to go to, but I think your assessment on Jackson is fair. With one caveat, I see him progress a lot. He still is not the most accurate quarterback. It drives me crazy, because he throws behind receivers a little bit. If he would have thrown some receivers in stride, we would gain more yardage. Then we have yak yards. Open guys, he tends to throw low. I don't know why. Catchable ball, but the guy could be running, but he doesn't run because it was a low ball. But the one thing I think he has progressed a lot is going through different progressions. In college, I agree with you. He was basically looking most up to. He basically say, "These are my two guys,
On
and
the
I'm
run.
gonna be looking at."
On the run.
I'm sorry.
On the run, he looks at only two guys. In the pocket, he does go through his progressions, and he has gotten better at that. But on the run, he doesn't look around the field, and that's what beats him. That's why guys like Ben Roethlisberger are successful at extending the plays because they look at the whole field and they do that cross-body throw.
So, by the way, Carlos Euronatic says, "I'm loving the artwork." So I'm assuming that's on John because I had nothing here. Um, and then says Lamar is not close to Vic. So I don't think anybody's comparing him to Vic. But if you want to compare him to Vic, I would say, or RG3, I would say both of them probably were a little bit better passing as a rookie. As a rookie, they were a little bit better
Definitely.
passers. But Lamar has a second gear that he's definitely faster than them. And Lamar, even though it turns me,
Then Vic?
oh
I don't know, man.
even
I don't know
Vic,
about
I don't know.
even Vic
I
admitted
don't know
that.
about Vic, bro.
We need to,
I'm sorry. I don't
get you
know.
that video. Even Vic just
I'm
said
sorry,
that.
man. I don't know if I can agree with
I'm
that.
quoting
Vic
Michael
Vic
Vick.
Vic was a video game
I
when
agree.
he was a rookie, bro.
I'm
sorry.
I'm not disagreeing with Vic being a video game. I just think because Vic happened, people are not appreciating what Lamar is doing. But moving from that,
I appreciate it. I mean, he's the leading rusher on your team, and he's only played 6 games. I mean, come on.
yeah, I agree. So moving on from that, it's just one thing that I don't like that he doesn't slide, but for some reason he doesn't take big
That's not
hits.
good.
He doesn't get that many big hits. He tends to jump forward a lot. So at that point, usually because he's a quarterback, defenders are basically letting him go. Sometimes tackling him not that hard, and then he tends to use a lot of the out of bounds area. So he likes to run to the edges, and when defenders are closer, he likes to go out of bounds. That protects him. So let me see a couple more comments, and then let's wrap it up. So Lamar and Derwin knowing each other quite well from FSU. They battled. Lamar is 1-0, 2-0 to be after Saturday versus him. I added that part, by the way. And then Vic is being modest. Okay, so just to wrap up,
Yes,
I want to give you guys the opportunity to just throw your score prediction if you can.
Sure. Okay. So I'll go first. For me, the Ravens have a great defense, and it's going to be it's going to be a challenge for sure. I'm not going to discount them whatsoever, but they're just so one-dimensional on offense that if they get down at any point, it's going to be really tough for them to throw themselves out of a hole. I think the Chargers need to force the Ravens into third and longs a lot and send the hounds. Obviously, you got to keep the contain because Lamar Jackson is a rare athlete. But I think the Chargers have too much on the offensive side of the football, and I think this is going to be a 28-17 Charger victory.
Ooh, okay.
Before I give my prediction, I'm going to let everyone know who those Chargers Pro Bowlers were. We have the obvious Phillip Rivers, Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen, Melvin Ingram, Derwin James, Mike Pouncey, and then a surprise, Adrian Phillips.
Oh, Adrian Phillips. Heck yeah, man. That
Adrian
young man
Phillips made the Pro Bowl.
You should be looking out for. He has had one hell of a year. He's a great linebacker / safety. He's one to watch. But yeah, I'm so happy for him. John, go ahead.
I think our offense is probably going to struggle in the red zone this game. I feel like we're going to probably settle for a lot of field goals. But I think our defense is going to play well enough against Lamar Jackson to where we limit his big plays, and I think we win this game 19-13.
Ooh, low score. So I'm actually going to go also more into John's line. I think it's going to be a great game. If you like defense and if you like good football, it's going to be a good game. I'm actually not a huge fan. I to be honest, I was one of those guys that turned the Kansas City versus Rams game off. I just got tired. I thought it looked like a Pro Bowl, right? Meaning there was just your big yardage with the big yardage, and the beginning is cool. You're like, yeah, that's awesome. And then I'm like, okay, the defense I'm not gonna play. F it. So saying that, this is my score prediction for my Ravens. I think the Ravens will prevail. They have to show hard. They have to win the time of possession. I think the Ravens win 2017. Close game. I think it's gonna be a fun game. And they know they have to win if they want to make the playoffs. I'm not
I want to also
yeah.
bring up. I want to also bring up that the Ravens, in the past decade, I will say, haven't really done well on prime time, and this is going to be a prime time game. So I think that's something that might go into the Chargers' favor. I remember when we played the Ravens when they were like a 13-3 team. We played them when they had way more talent than they do now, and we had way less talent, and we pulled off a blowout win. There's games where the Ravens have played the Jaguars, and the Jaguars sucked, and they lost to them. Like, the Ravens historically in this decade have not been good on prime time. It's just who they've been, even with John Harbaugh as the coach on lots of those games.
So all I'm
no
saying
doubt.
is,
But hey, it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun.
Go ahead.
And to close it out, what I think is gonna happen is it's gonna be 17-17. And then we're just gonna do a 4th and 29. We're gonna dump it to the running back.
Oh my God! Here we go. He had to pull that.
Yeah.
He had to pull that.
Oh, get out of here.
Anyway, thank you guys for participating. I thought it was fun. Great conversation.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody there enjoyed the conversation. Hopefully we can do this again. Hopefully, you know what? I'm actually hoping we make it to the playoffs as a 4th seed, and we can see you guys as the 5th seed, and then we can do this again. It's been fun. So thank you. You can tell everybody about your podcast.
Cool, man. Well, hey, appreciate you reaching out to us. I know you did that, quite a while ago to try to make sure that we were gonna, jump on the show with you, and we're more than happy to do it. We love doing this. We've been doing podcasts for the last couple of years, and this year we've done them more than ever. So it's just something that we truly love to do. But hey, you can find us on Twitter at LockedOnLAC. You can also find our Facebook live show on Twitter at ChargersDomPod. You can check out our Facebook pages. It's Locked On Chargers and Chargers Domination Live, which is the name of our show. But hey, really fun doing this. John, you can find me on Twitter as well at Dedro619 if you wanted to follow me. John, go ahead and tell them a little bit about yourself before we close this thing out.
What do I got to tell them about me?
Just your Twitter account, just where they can find you, where people can follow you.
Good luck spelling my Twitter account. It's basically supposed to say biggest Charger fan, but it's spelled weird because they wouldn't let me put all the letters in it.
Yeah, it's basically it's biggest Chargers FN. But you just type in John Kegley in the search bar, and that's how you'll find him. Okay. But hey, Sonny, this has been a fun one. Appreciate it. Unfortunately, we got to run. Yep. We got another show to get to, but you take it easy, and good luck after Saturday.
Hey. Take care, guys. Also, for my Ravens fan, go to Birdland BS. They're having their weekly show now. Their stream. Check them out. They're really good guys. So, take care, guys. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good, man. Take care.
Okay, guys. Hopefully you enjoy that. If you guys have any questions, just hit me up in the DM. And I'll see you guys in the next video.